Big news, goalies and goalie fans. Ben Bishop is willing to move. Bishop waiving his no-move clause for the expansion draft. He has been troubled by injuries, particularly in the last couple of seasons. But you can remember back to the Bolts in the 2015 Cup Final. He was their #1 goalie. Now, there are a number of goalies for us to focus on, Coach. Notable goalies projected to be available in the expansion draft. Now, I put my contacts in, so am I right when I say Braden Holtby's up there? And two-time Cup winner Jonathan Quick? What?
Yeah, those were great goalies, and I think they still have some play left in them. But they're both getting a little long in the tooth. Braden wasn't that great last year or the year before in Washington. Quickie's he's beaten me so many times I can't count, but and he's made saves that I just thought were impossible to make. But again, he's getting up there a little bit too. So I mean, I don't know if those would be two guys that they would really want to go after. They may as a backup, but they're pretty pricey for the backup. There was a couple other guys on that list that looked like they're really going to be good NHL players and didn't have quite that price tag in Vanacek and what's his name? Kokkonen, sorry. So, I mean, those guys might be a little more to the liking of Seattle at this point.
How about the liking factor on Ben Bishop? $4.9 million. Injury issues?
Yeah, of course he's got those injury issues. And, I mean, I don't know how cleared up they are or quite frankly, can't remember. On this one, it's knee surgery. So, I mean, if his knee is stronger than it was before, then that's not a worry. But, he's had injuries. But when he's healthy, he's one of the best goalies in hockey. And so would I take a chance on him? You can't win without being one of the best goalies in hockey. And that's been proven almost every year that any team that's won the Cup. So, I mean, I do believe that if, in Seattle's case, if he was left available, if you knew you could get a really good backup, then in case he got hurt, then I would make the gamble and do it. But, I mean, if you didn't and you had a rookie goalie coming in or an untested goalie that was going to be your backup, I probably wouldn't do it just in case it doesn't work out for Ben. But, man, he can play the game. He can handle the puck, and he's big. And when he's on his game, he's really difficult to beat.
Anton Hudobin, while you were saying that, was turning up the volume on his television because it was Anton that carried the ball for that Dallas Stars team all the way to the Cup Final for Rick Bowness.
But then a week later is free agency. And guess who's a free agent? Philip Grubauer, at least for now. So at least for the next 2 weeks, he's with Colorado, and we will see. Here's what he had to say about staying in Colorado. I think we have an incredible team next year. Joe Sakic and Chris McFarland say they always do a great job putting a team together that's performing at a high level and playing in the playoffs, and I want to be a part of that. So he wants to stay. He says everything is uncertain right now. Every team is waiting for the expansion draft. I would love to stay in Denver. Denver has become home. I love the team, love the organization, so it would be nice to work something out. What will the price tag be, both in ballpark of numbers, but then also in term for someone like Philip Grubauer? What do you expect?
Well, I think Philip Grubauer, coming off the year that he did, would like to take advantage of it. I mean, you can take a haircut by staying with your hometown or your team that you love, and you said love about 8 times.
Right, you want to stay.
But I mean, in the end, I mean, he's not going to. I don't think he would take a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. He's going to want to get paid, and at least something to what he thinks he deserves. He was one of the best goalies in the league all year round. I would believe that number is north of 5.
Wow.
Yeah, and I love what he said, that he said all the right things, and that's great, but Coach nailed it. When it comes down to dollars and cents, you only get a certain amount of chances at free agency, most of the time one.
Yeah.
So you really want to take advantage of that as a player. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to if they can make him happy, if they can keep him happy there, or the trade-off for Grubauer is take money and maybe be on a team that's not as much of a contender. So there is a decision there to be made for him. But yeah, I think it's as just like Coach said, it's north of 5. And he's earned it.
Which will be a decision for Colorado too, because even though right now they have no cap restraints necessarily, they are still looking down the road at some big names that are going to want to be signed, including Gabriel Landeskog, who also is a pending UFA. But when we look at the goaltending market, if Grubauer goes because he wants more term, he wants more money somewhere else, suddenly the Avalanche really need a goalie. And there are some really big names out there that are very intriguing. Chris Driedger comes to mind, maybe not as big of a name certainly as the Vezina finalist Philip Grubauer, but why do you like him?
Well, I think it would be, again, it would be almost like a crapshoot like when they got Philip Grubauer. Grubauer was coming off, okay year in Washington. They saw the potential. Driedger's coming the same way in Florida. But it would be a little bit of a gamble. But I'm sure they've watched him enough and they can think he's a good goaltender. I personally think he's really good, and I think he's going to be good, a bit better still. But it would be something of a gamble for them to go with him as the number one and give him a good, because he's going to want some money and term. All these goalies want the same thing. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Joe's going to, it's what's best for the team right now. And I've got to have a feeling that Grubauer, if he wants to have Grubauer back, he's got the team. They said this year, this team, they're going for it all. It's win or nothing. They're going to say the same thing next year until they kind of run out of this core, which could be a few years with McKinnon and all the guys that they have, Makar. But that being said, it's got to work out dollar and cents wise. And Driedger, he could fit in there well. But I got to imagine Joe wants the guaranteed thing. He knows what he's getting out of Grubauer, so I got to imagine that he wants to get it done there.
Yeah, and Colorado is certainly they have all the pieces to win now. We've picked them the last 2 years to win the Stanley Cup. The odds just came out last week. They're already the favorite. Not even Tampa Bay is the favorite. The Avalanche are already the preseason favorite to win the Cup next year. So we'll see if they can indeed lock down a really good goaltender. Freddie Anderson is another name too that's out there, and I know you're a fan of his as well, but that's someone to keep an eye on. Mike Smith as well, so should be an interesting free agency in a couple of weeks.